Today's episode is all about gigs, how you should prepare for a gig, getting last minute bookings, and nervousness before your very first gig. Let's go.
For the last 22 years, I've been rocking stages, playing in clubs, and having a lot of fun as a DJ and turntablist, and I've seen and learned a lot. Now it's time for me to share that knowledge by answering the questions that can help you become a better DJ. I'm djTLM, and this is Share the Knowledge.
Guys, what's going on? Welcome to episode 17 of Share the Knowledge. If you're new to the show, this is the show where I answer your questions. It's a Q&A show, and you can ask me questions on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. My handle is djTLM. Just ask me a question and add the hashtag Share the Knowledge, and I might answer it on a future episode. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. And if you tuned into the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes, link in the description down below, welcome to you as well. Now I'm going to get straight into it. I have some questions. I do have to look some questions up. I didn't get a chance to arrange everything in the phone, but I have plenty of questions for this episode, so let's just get it started. The first question is from Benjamin. Benjamin is 14 years old and he's about to have his first gig in a month, and he's really scared of doing something wrong and embarrassing himself in front of the audience. So he wants to know if I have any suggestions for him. Now, Benjamin, the first show is always going to be a little bit nerve-wracking. You're going to be nervous, and that's okay. That's perfectly normal, and most people will have that when they have to do something for the first time. That can be a DJ gig, that can be public speaking, that could be your first day at a job, whatever. You might have some nerves. That's okay. That's natural. The most important thing I believe you should remember is it's okay to make mistakes. So you can even expect certain things to go wrong. It can happen. It all depends on how far you are technically. If you've mastered mixing and you can do that without even thinking about that, then that shouldn't really be a problem. But due to nervousness, you might make little mistakes that you normally don't make anymore. Forget about it. That's no problem. So that's going to happen. As long as you remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes, just keep it moving. Most important thing you need to do, though, is don't let the crowd know that you're making a mistake, because a lot of times, most of the people in the crowd don't hear what you hear, and they don't even hear little mistakes. Now, of course, if it's a total train wreck when you try to make a transition, they'll hear it. But even then, if you just switch to that next song and keep it moving, they'll forget about it and they'll keep on moving as well. So you're gonna make mistakes. Keep that in mind. If something happens, something goes wrong, just continue with your set and don't let it bother you too much, and don't show the crowd. All right, now I have two questions right here, and it starts with a little scenario, and this is the first one. Last week, Monday, I was asked to play at a party on Saturday. The only problem was I already was invited to a party myself, and I had to work that day. Luckily, I had the possibility to change the day I had to work, so I chose to play at the party. So my question is, how can I manage that people will ask me to play at their party earlier? You're always going to have people that want to book you at the last minute. So being asked on Monday to play on Saturday, that's pretty last minute. That will happen. Not all the times. And of course, you would want people to book you way more in advance. But most people who organize parties know that they have to book you earlier if they really want you, because chances are if they want to book you last minute, you already have another gig. So most people will book you in advance, but you always have these last minute bookings. Here's the thing, that's not bad at all. If you already have another gig and they ask you last minute, you might not be able to take that new gig. Or in certain situations, you might even be able to combine it. If one is in the beginning of the night and the other one is later on, and the distance of the two venues or cities is not that far apart, you might be able to combine it. So then you have an extra gig. Or you don't have a gig planned that night at all, and a last minute booking is perfect to fill up that day or that weekend. And I've had that happen plenty of times, that people will call me like even on the day because a DJ just fell out at the last minute. Sometimes I already had a booking, I couldn't take it. Sometimes I had a booking, but I was able to combine the two. So now I had two bookings instead of one. And sometimes I was free and then I could take it, and that would just fill up that day. So that's extra work. So there's nothing wrong with that. So most people will book you in advance, and the ones who do it last minute, It's their loss if you already have a gig, and it's your win if you didn't already have a gig. So I won't worry about that too much. Now, the second question. The managers of the party told me they'd rented professional speakers for 1,300 euros. They even sent me the quotation, so I knew that it was professional sound system. So I only had to bring my own CDJs and DJM, and I left my own professional speakers at home. The moment I came at the location where I had the DJ, I could immediately hear that the sound system sounded like crap. Is there any way I can prevent this from happening again? Now, of course, the first thing you want to do when you get a booking is you want to have a technical writer, which states exactly what you need when you come to play. If you don't have a writer, you want to make sure you communicate with whoever's booking you to check what's there. And if they send you a quotation of a set of speakers that's 1,300 euros, that could be a professional system. It all depends on what type of system we're talking about. But even if those speakers are professional, that still doesn't mean you're going to get good sound, because it all depends on who's working that equipment, who's setting it up, who's taking care of the EQ and everything. Because if you have great speakers, but you have a sound guy who does not know how to set the EQ to make it sound right in the room, it could still sound terrible. So the speakers could have been perfectly fine, but the problem might have been the setup. So you don't know. If you're into speakers and you're normally bringing your own speakers, if they tell you we have a sound system, you want to do some research. So you don't want to have the price of the speakers. You want to know which system they're using. So if you have the knowledge that you already know that this is a good system, or you have to do a little research. I don't know a lot about speakers in clubs. So if someone tells me, hey, we have this system with these speakers, I would have to call someone or look it up online to see if it's actually a good system. But that's the research you will have to do, and the communications that's going to be you need to have with the people from the venue to make sure everything is okay. So that's your part that can help prevent situations like that. Not all the time. Sometimes people will tell you they have something and then you come there and it's not that at all. But in most cases, this will save you a lot of trouble and a lot of agony. So I have a request from Mohit from Canada. He wants me to talk about the structure of songs because he feels it's important to know about that when you're mixing. Now, I can be very short about this. Yes, the structure of songs is very important if you're doing transitions. This all starts with knowing how to count music. So you want to know beats, bars, phrases. Once you understand how to count that and you're going to apply that to the music that you have, then you're going to find out that most music has certain structures, and those same structures will come back in a lot of songs. And it's all about knowing how to count music and, more importantly, knowing your music. So once you learn how to count music, apply that knowledge to the music that you have so that you know, I'm playing this track. This track has that 8-bar intro. That track has that 32-bar intro. This one has a 4-bar intro. And then I get like 2 phrases filled with just extra hi-hats and whatever. And then there's the breakdown. That knowledge comes by knowing your tracks, because even if certain genres of music have a structure that's used a lot of times, you will always have those exceptions. So you can never say, like, in this genre, every song has that structure. You're always going to have the exceptions, so you need to know your own music. So I have another question from Lav, and I already answered it on Snapchat, but I think it's good to answer it in this video as well because more people might want to know about this. Is it possible to use only a mixer in person to control 2 decks virtually, so on the screen in DJ software? This is definitely possible. I never use equipment in that way, but for instance, if you saw my review about the Akai AMX, that's a small mixer, very small mixer, made for Serato DJ. If you have that, you can add turntables and CD players and use Serato DJ in a DVS setting. But you can also just use that AMX without extra players. It has 2 faders, it has a crossfader, and it gives you the option to control your software to start tracks. You can just use that small mixer to control 2 decks in Serato DJ. So in that case, you only have that small device and you can DJ with your software without any extra players there. So yes, it is definitely possible. And for some, this is a great way to play at home. It takes up virtually no space because especially with that AMX, it is very small. So you don't need a room for an entire setup like a big controller or 2 turntables, 2 CDJs, just that small device. It's only like that big. You can have that anywhere in a little corner and control your DJ software. All right, I have a question from Gil, 15-year-old DJ, soon to be 16. I just ordered business cards and I'm not really sure who I should give it to when they come in. I've not DJed at parties yet. My dad has done it for many years and has taught me a lot. I feel as though I'm ready to do a party. At the same time, I know I'm a rookie, so I'm nervous. 2 kids in my school are known as DJs. All they really do is play music and mix using horns instead of beat counting. I want people to know me as a DJ though, so what should I do? Now, this is a topic that we have all the time, and you know this, like how do I promote myself, stuff like that. But I felt it was important to answer this one, especially when it comes to that first part of the question. You have business cards, but you don't know who to give them to. Now, a business card is not like a flyer, so you're not just going to walk around school or on the street and give people your business card like, hey, I'm a DJ, here you go. But it's good to have those, because once you come across people and you feel that it could be valuable for them to have your info, you can give them your business card. This could be other DJs, this could be people who own a bar or a club, this could be promoters who do parties, this could be someone who has a radio station. In all those scenarios, it could be good if they have your info and they at least know that you're a DJ. So you keep your business cards in your pocket for situations like that. And in certain situations, you might talk to people and the DJ thing comes up and they're interested and they might ask you for your info. And then it's always great if they don't have to take out their phone to note your number, but you can just break out the business cards and give them a card. Always a good look. Now, when it comes to getting known as a DJ and you only have those 2 guys out there who are known as DJs, but they don't really DJ in your opinion, that's the same story as always. If you want to promote yourself, you want to make sure you have promotional material. So you post mixes online, record mixes, post them online, put them on CDs, USB flash drives, make sure you hand them out so people in your school start to realize that you're a DJ. I mean, networking within a school shouldn't be that hard. You have your friends probably in your class and in other classes. You start with them, you help them, let them help you spread the word. So you give them a couple of CDs. They might have some different friends that they can pass the CDs or USBs to, and start like that. And like I said, make sure you have it online. A lot of contact and communication nowadays, of course, especially in school, is also through social media. So you want to make sure your friends start to pass around the links of your mixes, and engage with people online that are in your school but that you might not have been in contact with, and engage in contact. And once you've established that contact, you might want them to check out your mixes as well. So I talked about that in plenty of videos, but I especially wanted to answer that part about the business cards. If you have them, that's a good start. And if your dad has a lot of knowledge and he's taught you a lot, he can probably even teach you a lot more. So I would bombard him with questions all day long. If you have that info within your house, stay on top of that. All right, another question, and the question is, I've been getting hit up for a pretty good gig 2 times now for a local event. The thing is, I've only been DJing for about 5 months and only DJ in a couple small house parties, and I feel like I'm not ready. Should I jump the gun and take the gig and see how it goes, or keep practicing in the bedroom? Now, this is a very good question, and self-awareness is very important in this scenario, because I cannot tell you if you are ready or not, because I have to judge that by actually hearing your stuff. And even if I hear your mixes, I don't know if you're going to be able to perform the same way live. But if you're having doubts about that, it's very good to think it through, because if this is a bigger gig and you feel that you're not ready, you can jump the gun and take it. But if your performance is bad, that could be pretty bad advertising, because if that's your introduction to the people and it's not good, your second booking might be a long way away. If you have the contact now and they're already trying to book you, it's a great contact to have, but I would definitely, me personally, I would be honest and prepare myself even more before I would start doing stuff like that. Continue to do the small things first. That's my personal opinion. I know there's probably going to be people in the comment section who totally disagree and feel you should take that gig right now. So it really comes down to your own knowledge of self. You know if you're just nervous about taking this gig and that's why you're doubting, or if you just know like, hey man, my mixes are still definitely not up to par. Half the time it's train wreck. It works at the small parties because people really don't care. But at a bigger party, I'm gonna bomb and mess it up all the way. If you know that, then you are not ready, and I would definitely wait before I start to go there. Even though there's a low threshold now, and a lot of people just have the chance to get out there as a DJ even when they're not ready. If you know it and you're doubting, then maybe you should practice more until you really master it and feel confident enough, because confidence really helps out when you're doing your performance. Then I have a question from DJ Ghost, and the question is, how much time should you give yourself to prepare for a gig? Also, what are some key questions that you should ask before accepting the gig? And what are the right answers you should be looking to hear from a potential client? Man, you have a bunch of great questions right there. And first of all, how long should you give yourself to prepare for a gig? That really depends on how you play. So in my case, if I'm playing freestyle, so I don't have a track list, all I really need to know is what type of music is expected. So is the party being promoted as a specific one genre party? Is it a multiple genre party? Is it anything goes? I need to know that, because then I can know what type of music I'm going to bring. And in my case, all I have to do most of the times is really just select certain crates that I want to have in my Serato at that time. That's where my preparation basically ends, because the rest happens when I'm there and I'm playing and I go off the crowd. Now, if you're going to do a totally prepared set, that means, first of all, you also have to know what type of music is being expected. Once you know that, you have to start selecting tracks from that one genre or all those genres. You have to start making a track list. Then you have to prepare that track list so you have a nice tight set. That's going to take up a lot more time. So it all depends on how you play. Now, what type of questions should you be asking when you do a booking, when you get a booking request? First of all, like I just said, I need to know what type of party it is so I know what type of music is being expected. I don't want to end up at a gig to find out that they're expecting a genre of music that either I don't have, don't play, or just did not really bring enough or not bring the right crates. Of course, you can say you're playing digitally, you can always bring all your music. I don't like to have all my music in Serato, but of course, in my Serato, I have crates for every genre, so I could adapt now. But in my turntable vinyl days, it happened where I would come to a club. They told me it was a certain gig. At least that's what I understood. I came there with my crates to find out that the crowd was there for a totally different style of music, and I did not have that in my crates, and that's messed up. Now, so you want to know the type of party. Second of all, you want to make sure that the right equipment is there. So you need a technical writer, or you need to communicate with whoever's in charge of the technical aspects. So that could be a stage manager, the technical person of the venue, whatever. You need to know, if you're playing with turntables, do you guys have turntables? What mixer is there? You need to know this stuff so you know that if it's there, it's okay. If they don't have that, you might have to adapt, either bring your own or you have to play on their set. Are you willing to play on their set? Can you play with their set? So that's, to me, are the two most important questions, besides, of course, the financial aspect. And in that case, that's going to be different for different DJs. But if someone approaches me with a booking request, I need to know the type of party. The technical writer needs to go their way. But most importantly, also, I need to know what's the budget they're working with, what's the pay, this is what I need. And you need to take care of that negotiation as well. The right answer, I can't give you that. You know your price, so you know the type of answer you want to hear when it comes to the financial part of the discussion. But that's basically it for me. So for certain people with certain gigs, if you're a mobile DJ, it's going to be a little bit different because you have to take care of a lot more. So you probably have a lot more questions. But in a club scenario, I don't have to bring a lot of equipment. I have to be there with my music prepared for the right gig. And that's basically all I need to know. I need to take care of my finances. I need to know how I'm getting paid, how much, and then I'm basically good to go. Then you have a couple more things that could be interesting, like the parking situation. If it's in a different town, I need to know, can I park at the back of the club, or is there a special parking section? If I have to go into a parking garage, is that being paid for? Who's going to give me the special ticket for the parking garage? you have more questions like that, but those are not as important as those first couple of things I just mentioned. So great question. And remember one thing, preparation is key, and preparation does not just mean that you have your music ready. There's more that comes into play for making your booking work. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to stop it right here. I have a lot of stuff to do, but I'll be recording a new episode very soon. Question of the day. How do you prepare for your next gig? And when I say that, of course, in this case, I'm talking about music. So do you really make entire track lists? Are you playing freestyle? Even if you're playing freestyle, do you bring different crates every time? So do you make a special pre-selection of what you're bringing to the club that day? I remember back in the days when I was playing with vinyl, sometimes I would actually vinyl by vinyl, pick out songs, put them in crates and bring them. But for a lot of other gigs, I would just have standard crates filled with records that could take me in different situations, in different directions. So how do you prepare for your gigs? That's the question of the day. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me. It's djTLM, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. Just add that hashtag, share the knowledge. If you enjoyed this video or if you enjoyed the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes, make sure you like it and share it. Subscribe to iTunes. Check me out on SoundCloud. All episodes are downloadable on SoundCloud. So if you want to have that audio just to listen to at any time, you can go get it right there. And join the conversation in the comment section. If you saw any questions and you feel you can add more info besides the stuff that I already mentioned, please do, because there's a lot of stuff that you might know more about than I do, and that can help others out. And I'm reading the comments myself too, and I've picked up some things here and there from different DJs in the comment section who have more knowledge about speakers and mobile DJing and stuff like that. And it's always great to learn. So share the knowledge, guys, and I'll see you soon. Peace.